this on the FM. We're going to be talking about League City, Texas. Here we go. Good afternoon. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. My name is Gardy, and I have a guest who's zooming in, and I'm guessing from League City, Texas. I'm going to let him introduce himself and then share a little bit about what's been transpiring this past week. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Gardy?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I just got out of church, and I kind of ran to the next room. But, you know, right now I feel very fortunate. I feel very blessed, and I'm ready to keep trying to spread some positivity in the community, and today is no exception. So thank you for making time on a busy Sunday to come and hang out with me for a bit.
Not a problem at all. Always happy to visit with you. And that's exactly what we need today is some positivity in the community. So I'm glad to hear that you're spreading it. I think we all need to be spreading that positivity with our neighbors because, like you said, it's a blessing to be sitting here today on this Sunday as opposed to last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a very hectic week. A world-changing week for a lot of folks that live right next door to us. So I'm happy to share a little bit of what has gone on in League City and in Galveston County, what the next steps are. You want to ask any specific questions and we'll go from there?
Yeah, so one thing that I saw this past week, and I saw you getting this information out and other officials from the official League City Facebook page, there was some water distribution going on. What were y'all out there doing? And I mean, I guess who was out there helping?
Yeah, so the city of League City, as well as Galveston County and a lot of the municipalities around us, went into action. As you know, our water supply, the water pressure dropped significantly due to a lot of the burst pipes in people's homes. And whenever you have a water pressure drop, the water quality minimum standard as required by the state dips below that threshold. So people, simply didn't have water in their homes. It had to be shut off. And then some folks, might not have wanted to drink the water if they did have it. So the city of League City gave out 3,000 cases of water over the course of 2 days. We predict that probably went to about 2,000 or so families that were without water. Most people in the city now should have water in their homes. I know some folks are still trying to get plumbing parts. There's been a lot of issues in getting parts to actually fix the burst pipes and whatnot. But there should be water access in League City for folks. So
yeah, one quick question about that, because I saw this on ABC 13 last night. I took a picture of it and posted it on my Facebook page, and just forgetting out of habit, like brushing my teeth, or just like, oh, I'll just wet it a little bit. It's just I don't know how much kind of contamination or what the cause of, but just forgetting. And so I was like, man, I need a bottle of water. What is the water safe to use for, from what you've been told, and what is it not safe to use for in League City?
The officials are saying not to use it for consumption, so do not ingest it. You can use it to, wash your hands, wash your clothes, that kind of thing. They say don't drink it, don't use it to brush your teeth necessarily. Obviously, there's a risk spectrum, and I think we're getting pretty close to having that water boil notice lifted. We're waiting on Lake City gets the majority of its water from the city of Houston. Once the city of Houston clears all of their tests, which hopefully will be sometime today, then we will be right behind them in lifting the water boil notice. So until then, the safest thing to do is not consume the water coming through your tap, and use bottled water or just drink some coffee, right? Drink some coffee or bottled beverages.
Yeah, I've gone through Chick-fil-A and I've seen they don't have any drinks because unless you get a bottle of water, because you think about it, it's just like, well, I guess like the ice and everything else mixing with the syrup. It's just all these different things that you don't think about till they say, hey, you can't use the water. But, I guess the good thing is I saw Texas City, Lamarck, and Dickinson have already lifted their boil water notices, and I'm sure some people are still going to take a little bit of time and say, hey, I'm going to keep using bottled water or boil it for a little bit. But League City can't be too far behind. If you had an estimation, when are you guessing? Should it be this coming week sometime?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's later today or tomorrow. Um, our public works staff have been working around the clock to get water shut off, to get pipes fixed, and they were doing testing on our system concurrently with the city of Houston's testing. So there won't be a lag period really between when we hear from Houston and when we're able to lift it. So we have great professional staff in the city, and they think of almost everything to make sure that we're operating smoothly and efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
And let me give you some, I guess, some stats. I'm sure some people will be interested to know. Um, Last Sunday, the city of League City used 11.6 million gallons per day, and that's pretty normal winter usage. On Tuesday, the city of League City used 24.7 million gallons per day, which is a new record, higher than even the summer peak usages before by more than 4 million gallons. So you can see we more than doubled our usage in a matter of 2 days, and that's not water that people were using to take baths or to drink or to fill their swimming pools or to irrigate their lawns. I mean, that's water that was, burst pipes spilling into their yards and sometimes spilling into their homes, causing significant damage. So by Thursday, 2 days later, we were back down to 11.5 million gallons per day. So our public works folks and frankly citizens who just were helping their neighbors were able to shut off those individual meters at the street, and we've seen a big turnaround. We get our water, like I said, from GCWA, City of Houston. Whenever we went up to that 24.7 million gallons, we were using 6 of the 8 water wells within League City. That's kind of our backup emergency supply to make sure that we were supplying folks with the water that they needed.
So that's
really, there's a lot of folks to be commended within the city. We have great volunteers, but those public works folks, Gardy, they've been working 24/7. I mean, they're tired, and they did it willingly. I mean, they love serving people, consummate professionals. So we do gotta, next time you see a public works worker, no matter where in the public works department they are, give them a pat on the back and tell them thank you, because they really did a great job.
Yes. So you mentioned the millions of extra gallons of water that was just leaking into the streets, leaking into people's houses, caused low water pressure all around. But one thing I saw, at least some of my neighbors posting on social media saying, man, I got a call from the city saying I used 1,000 gallons of water, yesterday, today. I don't know if the leak's on the city side or my side. What should somebody do if they got a call or they get a bill and realize that the water consumption at the house was not what they were using? Who do they reach out to, and is that something the city will work with them on?
Right now, we have suspended all water bill late fees, and the city does have a policy in place to work with folks who have water leaks. A lot of times, they can identify when the leak took place and how much of the water was due to that. So I'd say call the city's utility billing department, work with those folks. Our staff is here to help people, right? And they'll do everything they can to get people through this. I told you before we came on the show today, the city has to pay for the water one way or another, unfortunately. So it's not really one of those things that I think we can just blanket grant everyone forbearance on the water usage, but there are policies in place, and call the utility billing department. Very friendly folks, and they're feeling for people. A lot of them actually had issues at their own homes, and so they're going to be very empathetic and do whatever they can to help people who are struggling right now.
What can the citizens of League City expect going forward whenever it comes to, water distribution, and even just past this situation, if there's a way we can be better prepared for things in the future?
We're going to be investigating, reviewing a lot of our building codes, engineering standards, to see if there's something that we could have done in terms of policy to prevent it. I think we had compounding issues when electricity went out for a long period of time. People really started seeing their pipes freeze. If we would have had rolling blackouts as anticipated and communicated, from the powers that be, we probably wouldn't have had the quite the negative impact on our water system. So I know many people, and this is from Galveston County staff, 90% of all county residents were without power at some point. Many of them between 36 and 72 hours without any power.
Wow.
And when you have no power in your home during a deep freeze, your pipes are a lot more susceptible to freezing and bursting. So had the electric system performed as we expected to, we wouldn't have seen the failure in the water system. So, but nonetheless, we're going to be reviewing the way we do electricity, the way we do water, the way we permit the building of homes and commercial properties, to see if there's something we can do to prevent something like this in the future. I know the county, they did a great job in bringing in pallets of water. They had to, I don't know if you saw the picture on social media, but the state of Texas had to fly in truckloads of water because they couldn't traverse the roads and get the water here. So
wow.
County leadership right now, in the coming weeks and months, I think the district attorney, Jack Rody, Judge Mark Henry, they're going to be taking the state to task over what quite frankly could be considered, system failure. And there needs to be answers, and there needs to be a better system in place moving forward. So I really love seeing all the people come together. You really get to know the community in hard times. And we had hundreds of volunteers coming out to the water distribution sites to pass out water to their neighbors. But we also had people that were, just calling and checking in on their neighbors, going next door, knocking on the door, sharing their tools. And that's going to be the case, over the next couple of weeks as we get people's pipes fixed. And that's why I love living in League City. It's a great place to live, work, and play. We have friendly folks who are there for one another in tough times and in the good times. So,
yes, I agree. I'm fortunate that I live in League City, and I think about all the business owners in League City and the entire county. And I know you head up the Galveston County COVID-19 Business Task Force, and a lot of these businesses, if they were fortunate enough not to have anything wrong with their building, they were forced to close for pretty much a week. And
yeah.
I mean, it's already a downtime, and that's just like a stomp on them. Or like I had a friend who owns a business in Santa Fe, the Gun Vault of Texas, and the walls like caved in. And so he's gone. He has to try and rebuild it. He's like, I'm going to dry everything out and see what I can do. It's just a tough time. So, it's an important time to, hook up with the chambers, Councilman Dugie as well, and just try and support local whenever possible and support your neighbors, Is there anything else that you'd like to share about what's going on right now or the future, anything at all?
Man, I do want to give our Parks Department a shout out. They opened up the Hometown Heroes building as a warming center. They were open from Monday through Saturday. At the peak, they had 40 guests staying at Hometown Heroes Park for some warmth, and the last 2 people left yesterday. So, we had people jumping into action in whatever way they could. Every department was stepping up to perform some service for citizens during the emergency. From the county officials, I've heard that if they would have known there wasn't a rolling blackout, or there wasn't going to be a true rolling blackout, it was just going to be a system failure, maybe they could have put into an evacuation of sorts, or at least communicate with the most vulnerable populations to leave or take shelter with family members. So I mean, we're going to be working hard to find out a way that we can prevent this in the future. There has to be a better way. And you have locally elected officials here in League City who are on the ground this week and who will be, you know, going up to Austin to talk to folks if need be, to make sure that we don't see this again. The big takeaway, Gardy, always have emergency water. Always have an emergency stash of non-perishable food items. And we are, going to be entering another hurricane season. So you never know what the event might be that will require those emergency stashes. But I mean, that's what people can do now individually to kind of prepare for the unknown. And if you have an idea, a thought of how things can be better, how your local government can function more efficiently or provide higher level of service to you, reach out to one of your council members. We're always happy to meet with folks and have a conversation about changes that can be made. I'm very proud of our team, our city manager, and his staff. It's an unfortunate time. We've seen the best of people, really, and now we just got to get back to trying to rebuild. So as soon as the plumbing parts become available, I think these fixes will be easy in some cases, but those materials just have to make their way down to us.
Okay, here's a question that came in on the Facebook stream. If you are watching on Facebook, I always appreciate when questions come in. This one's from Rudy. Rudy said, ask him what the future holds whenever his term is up as councilman. So, Councilman Hank Dugie, what does the future hold for you whenever your term as a councilman is up?
We'll see, Gardy. I'm able to run again and continue serving on city council. And I've said from the very beginning, I enjoy this work. I think my set of life experiences have put me in a position to be good at it. And I'll go wherever the people want me to go. So thank you, Rudy. Appreciate the support. And we'll see what the future holds in the future. For now, I'm focused on getting people the water they need and finding ways that we can prevent this in the future.
Hey, thank you for taking some time today. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. All right. Hey, social media, y'all be blessed. Feel free to share this out. Ask questions on this. I know that Hank and the cities and everybody's always very responsive answering